Another week deeper into spring, another dose of cabin fever dreams. Welcome back, friends. I'm glad you can make it. Tonight we're going to dig into something I've had stored in my spring cleaning closet for a while, and it's quite a special little case I've been holding on to. But before we do that, it's best to acknowledge that right now we all could use a lot more access to a lot more media, especially the stuff we've sworn up and down we'll eventually get to. I like pumping out content, but even I'm getting a little worn out at the moment and I'm going to need a reprieve with new content to binge. Cabin fever is real this year, go figure, and I'm going to share a secret with you to get through it, assisted by some cool new friends of Nightmind who are sponsoring this video, Crunchyroll. That's right, Senpai noticed me, and now I'm gonna show them off. I don't know what it is about spring, but it just feels really great for laying around and loading up a show I've never seen with the windows open and a nice coffee. This spring especially is the best moment for it, and Crunchyroll is your ultimate opportunity to make it great and have a memorable experience. They're a miracle for people like me, who needed to try 5 different ways to find anime in years past. Crunchyroll has built up an ever-growing library of countless titles both subbed and dubbed, available ad-free in 1080p HD and accessible on all devices, including smart TVs. And if it's a currently running anime, they have access to new episodes just 1 hour after airing in Japan, which is unheard of. But what could someone like me be watching on Crunchyroll? I'm glad you asked, because I have legitimate recommendations. First of all, for every single one of you who has ever said, I should really get around to watching Death Note, Crunchyroll has it in full. That's the subtitle version and the English version, so now you have no excuse. And I'm recommending it first because 1, it's Death Note, 2, it's the anime that got me into my spring anime watching habit, and 3, it's the first show that I ever binge-watched. There was an entire period in April of 2012 dominated by Death Note, and I loved every second of it. Everything awesome that anime could be for people like us begins with Death Note. Watch it. And if you've already seen Death Note or want some new stuff approved by yours truly, I've got 2 great choices depending on your mood. If you want pure horror and suspense, watch The Promised Neverland, a new anime that is wonderfully deceptive in its appearance. This one is for the serious moods and the nights you want to feel goosebumps. But if you're in more of a lighthearted and thoughtful mood, watch Mob Psycho 100. Full stop, I'll say it right now. If I could get away with it, I would make a whole video on Mob Psycho 100, and I'm not even that kind of channel. It's hilarious, it's subversive, it's entirely self-aware when it comes to the whole field of anime, it's empathetic to the audience, and it's just plain awesome. It's made by the same writer as One Punch Man, and you'll catch a few smart references in the show. The art is unique, it plays with its form all the time, even to the point of characters reacting to it. The voice acting is so much fun that I would take voice training from the guy who plays Regan. It really is fantastic. If you've never watched anime, seriously, Mob Psycho 100 would get you on board and welcome you in with a smile, a wink, and a pat on the back. Right now, Crunchyroll is offering a free trial of Premium for 14 days. That's 2 full weeks to dive in using whatever device you like and get HD viewing ad-free. Just go to crunchyroll.com/nightmind or click on the link in the video description. That's crunchyroll.com/nightmind, and you can join me in my springtime habit. Seriously, if you're curious at all, even if it's just to see Death Note at last, sign up, watch it, and come back here to the comment section to tell me what you think. Thanks to Crunchyroll for sponsoring this video, and, in general, for existing. Now, let's get into something else that comes to mind for me every spring for very different reasons. There are creators and groups in the unfiction, ARG, and online art scene that are well enough known. The most recognizable among them right now would, of course, be Wham City Comedy, who are always up to something and have brought us plenty of projects. But well before them came a group that kicked off the habit of art collectives messing around online for big results. Synydyne? Synydyne? We'll call it Synydyne, has been active since 2007 and seemed to cease operation in 2013. Their history is one of the weirdest and most disruptive chapters of online art projects. The rise of Synydyne began with a video project that some of you might already know. This is My Milwaukee.
This is my Milwaukee.
This is my Milwaukee.
This is my Milwaukee.
This is my Milwaukee too. Why not make it yours?
This is My Milwaukee, as you may already suspect, is a fake travel promotion, led by this gentleman in a tan suit, Terry Nanny. We're not going to watch every little second of this 10-minute video, but we'll flip through the good stuff.
Milwaukee's been getting a lot of press recently. Not all of it good. Surely you know what I'm referring to. But the story that's not being reported is that of a vibrant city, getting better every day. Families, good jobs, culture, high technology. Still not convinced? Join me for a closer look.
Milwaukee. Come for the weekend, stay for life.
When asked by a duke where best to make his home, Voltaire replied, "Plant your family tree in the soil of the arts." Voltaire would feel right at home in Milwaukee. At the recently renovated Jagoda Museum Center, you can sample artworks from across America while the kids hang out in the activity place. When you're done, stop by the courtyard for alfresco dining at Fabrizio's, the Museum Center's in-house cafe and grill. Fabrizio's caters to every palate, with entrees ranging from the great American hamburger to the Italian classic lasagna. Fancy a night of music under the stars? Check out the Milwaukee Seasonal Pops Orchestra and their celebrated medley, Hollywood Glitz. Why not join the cultural renaissance yourself? Try out for the Broadway Big Shots, Milwaukee's premier theater troupe. Working. Hammers. Sweating. Power. Circuits. Review. Verify. Bonus. Under. But life in Milwaukee isn't all hard work. Sometimes you just wanna...
Milwaukee. Get up and dance.
With containment and decontamination well underway, young professionals are flocking back to Milwaukee. Nightlife is thriving as though nothing ever happened. Need proof? Try getting a table at a popular downtown club. There's a hot spot for every taste, it seems. Bohemian poetry clubs, masculine sport bars, lounges for swinging couples, even oriental restaurants. So don't worry. Milwaukee's full of places to meet that special guy or gal, or if you know where to look, to have sex with things other than humans.
Like the other young professionals in Milwaukee, Mark and Sally spend their days at Black Star. Was that the quittin' whistle? Time to head for the canning district.
Order that second margarita.
The Milwaukee Margarita substitutes vermouth for tequila.
Vermouth. Now dance a little closer.
The streetcar shuffle was invented in the canning district.
He doesn't know, does he?
Oh, don't worry, this isn't important. It's a sight gag.
Young professionals demand the best. That's why Milwaukee's building new and completely fortified apartments. Central air, hardwood floors, great views, Class G certified.
Milwaukee, step up to the streets.
Hey, teens. You're moving to Milwaukee. It's America's 22nd largest city. Its chief export is black seed.
Teens.
Milwaukee's an awesome town for teens. Skateboarding, hamburgers, church, toys. You can hoop it up with your friends as long as you follow a few simple instructions and stay out of Sector 21. Here's how.
Teens.
Rule 1, travel in groups wherever you go. Rule 2, never leave home without your rebreather and a flare gun. And Rule 3, if your party is being chased by Godseed fragments, make your way to the nearest structure rated Class K or greater. Don't worry, all our schools are rated at least Class L. And talk about school spirit. Since we're still repopulating the classrooms, there are plenty of opportunities to get involved. Put that down. Throw them to the Godseed fragments.
The kids seem excited.
Milwaukee, a place for staying. Take a moment to remember. Before. Weren't you proud of your town? I don't blame you for leaving when things got rough. And Black Star doesn't either. But now, it's time to rebuild. And repopulate. For the next 6 months, Black Star is giving all former residents the chance to start again, on us. We're offering a relocation stipend of $5,000 dark dollars, plus 2 free years of Black Star housing. A place for possibility. A place for staying. Reunion.
Milwaukee was filled with hope when Black Star came to town. They promised jobs, jobs for everyone. Their money fixed roads and opened hospitals. When Black Star announced Project Godseed, even the mayor didn't question it. Black Star said we needed a new god, so we began to build. We were so busy finishing the project that we didn't notice nature withering around us. We never asked to whom this new god would pray. We had to destroy Milwaukee, to save it. And the survivors buried the remnants of Godseed in a sarcophagus deep beneath the Canning district. It was their hope that this pharaoh's burial would keep him asleep for all times. No expense was spared. An emerald casket, a golden map, a forgotten weapon? But don't even think about going after the riches. The tomb is buried under thousands of tons of concrete.
I don't care how many tons. If there's riches, I'll find them.
I hope you're not planning to dig there, treasure hunter.
Well, what's it to you? I don't believe in monsters anyway. And besides, ain't he supposed to be dead?
Well, it's not that simple. You know how trees lose their leaves in winter, right?
Yeah!
Well, those leaves regrow in the spring, and I fear the seasons may be changing.
I came to Milwaukee for adventures, not lessons. Now, are you gonna help me? Or are you gonna stand in my way?
You remind me of someone, treasure hunter. Take this.
Thanks, Terry. I'll buy you a hamburger when I get back from the tomb!
I keep on the side of the heart of your dream, and the light of that seal will show me the disease. Speak no sanctuary, now will redeem me. I never forget, and the will to improve. Charming, exquisite, the flaxseed blossom, it's oiled, rich and milky. Bubblegum millennium, slow just millennium. Do you want this nightlife? Bubblegum millennium, slow just millennium. Do you dream this nightlife? Next week on Black Star, no Black Star.
Glad you found me, Terry. I thought I was toast.
Here's your ball back, kid. Now for a slam dunk of my own!
Well, that was an experience. So what did we learn about Milwaukee? A while back, a company named Black Star came to the city promising jobs, jobs, and more jobs, and they did a lot for the area with their money and resources. Then they began working on Project Godseed, because apparently they could invent a god and felt that people needed that. So they did, but it was a disaster and they had to destroy Milwaukee, bury all the pieces of the project, and now they're trying to get people to move back while fighting what remains of their failure, the Godseed fragments. You may also have noticed the recurrence of this weird thing. Looks like an overgrown onion, right? There are coloring activity sheets with the image of this odd plant early in the video, with a statement, "These belong underground. Where are yours?" One of the sheets has writing on it. "I am 9 years old. My father was taken by Black Star for a problem he did. I am sorry, Black Star." Then there's this moment during the working segment. So yeah, if you see this thing, bury it, because it's probably a piece of Godseed. This Is My Milwaukee wasn't originally on YouTube. It had its own website, mocked up as being part of the Milwaukee Tourism Commission's internet presence. Now, let's give a quick cheer to the unfiction forums of old and ARGNet, who covered the process for how This Is My Milwaukee developed from there, because this ARGNet article describing actions by unfiction members is all we have to follow the storyline, along with the accidental lucky strike of a wiki made just for this project. It starts with the contact information on the site. Either by phone or by email, you would be directed to a fictional Milwaukee Tourism Commission, who would stay in character and offer information packets by email concerning Blackstar. Hidden in the code for the website was a link to a YouTube video with an encoded title. Decoding it led to the New York Public Library, where the call number in the video, AI 3.823, was for a book that held a sheet of paper showing this plant revealed to be a fennel bulb. Included was a phone number. Calling that phone number led to the director of Milwaukee Tourism Commission, Michael Lewis. A user on the Unfiction forum named Citrus reported their call, saying they were told about junior reseating positions, which were team-based and gender-separated. Around the same time, someone found a press release on some news websites from the Milwaukee Tourism Commission, which is quite the extra step to take for something like this. The press release cites Mike Russo, the Vice President of Development, and mentions how the new Tourism Commission has private investors. Shortly after this came the information packets titled, Milwaukee, a Reasonable Haven. This booklet is quite a trip. Here's the introduction. Settlers have always taken risks to get rewards. Open land, new animals, adventurers and sights. Now you're a settler. No one said it would be easy, but you're already past the hardest part, realizing you deserve a better life. Now comes the second hardest part, defending yourself from the many Godseed fragments you'll encounter in the desert. But just think how you'll feel when you step through Milwaukee's East Gate. A new home, a steady job, improving infrastructure, avoiding rebels, not unreasonable taxation, continued Godseed fragment attacks. So what are you waiting for, settler? We're excited to meet you. Do not enter through the North Gate. Anna Tate Mellon, Mayor. The first few pages reveal that this information packet is not final. It was a working draft sent out too early. There are some jokes in here and some items of note, like the incentives table, which can award you a personal lunch with the mayor and the Blackstar sort of slang if you're part of Power Class 40 or above, whatever that means. The rest of the book feels like a lot of sporadic world building, really stressing the idea that not only does Blackstar run the show and needs people to enlist in their Godseed fighting efforts, but it's almost as if this version of Milwaukee is an RPG. The booklet does contain one thing, however. On this page, with the Old English worker's tale, we have the phrase, Chuck did eat, right after a line referencing Twitter and tweet. This produced a Twitter account, Chuck did eat, following this guy from the video. He's a foodie going around Milwaukee to try its restaurants and eating spots. This activity led to a night at a dinner party, described in a long flow of tweets, which followers of the game suspected was actually hinting at a dead drop in Cafe Gratitude, located in San Francisco. Players who went looking found an envelope with part of a map inside, which was meant to be combined with an existing segment sent by fax to another player at random around the same time from New York City. Taking both pieces and a third, which was found on a secret page from the website, players generated a full map to be used with page 26 of the booklet, containing a table that would guide them into the doleful city. It was realized with all this information that Act 2 would take place on January 17th, 3 p.m. in New York at Central Park, with the meeting place at a spot matching the treasure hunter's intervention in the video. That got all sorts of crazy connected, right? Amazing. So what happened? Well, a bunch of members of Unfiction came together on that day and met at the spot, with one of them actually filming the process, which is an awesome resource to have now. A man named Joey from the Missouri Tourism Commission showed up, gave them postcards and family trees, and passed one member a trophy from the Champion Dynasty Fund. A lot of questioning unfolds concerning the world build of this alternate universe Milwaukee, with Joey answering faithfully. He also informs the group about the importance of the V formation to counter the power run, along with shouting bonus while holding a family tree. Workers may take any appearance, including one that may disguise their true nature. Joey decides to lead the assembled group on a brief walk, where he mentions that the key to effectively utilizing the Champion Dynasty Fund trophy lies in the wielder shouting "Bonub" at the target. Everything is interrupted when a worker is spotted from across the clearing. He is the only man in Central Park wearing short sleeves, and indeed he is decked out in a button-down collared shirt and slacks. Joey quickly huddles the allies behind a tree and distributes family trees to everyone, readying a counterattack to the anticipated power run. The worker ends up attacking, and the Unfiction Forum members use the bonus technique as well as bow nub, disabling the enemy.
Alright, be careful, be careful. Guys, get ready! Get ready! Get ready! For bonus, ready? Ready. Ready, like me! Ready, 3, 2, 1.
Bonus! 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 Bonus!
Dicey bonus, quick! Get bonus! Yeah, let's go!
He ends up throwing money at the group and runs away with Joey chasing him. A code left on the money indicates their next clue is at 888 8th Avenue. It turns out to be an ice cream shop, where the 3 young professionals in the video are hanging out. When they see the players, they run away, leaving behind a small coded book. It's a journal from a character who works for Blackstar, Mars Madison, who helped players online finish the map. The diary, when decoded, revealed that Terry Nanny was the head of Blackstar's communications department, and Blackstar also caused an outage as propaganda. That seems to refer to a power outage, as a previous message mentions Blackstar's control over energy policy. So, then what happened? If I knew, it would bring comfort to a lot of people who play This Is My Milwaukee, because apparently the game just stopped cold right there. The wiki I've been consulting has no further information, and to confirm, I rolled the dice a few times on the Internet Wayback Machine to access the Unfiction Forum topics. In March of 2009, just a month and a half after the diary drop in New York, we get this topic. Recommendations for Timmers looking for a new game? I know Tim, This Is My Milwaukee, drew a lot of new people, myself included, to Unfiction and large-scale ARG participation. Since Tim is a bit comatose at the moment, I'd love some other puzzles to wrap my brain around. Then in September of 2009, another. Who else keeps coming back? I'm assuming everyone has moved on, but does anyone else still check this every now and then, unrealistically hoping that something new will be here? My very first ARG, and it never even finished. All that work, all that effort, all that money and planning, and it somehow dropped dead. No one could have predicted that. As quickly as it had risen up, This Is My Milwaukee just stopped. Then, with one chapter begun and not even legitimately finished, Synydyne moved on to Chapter 2 of their history in 2010 with a YouTube-based oddity, Pronunciation Book. On April 14, 2010, the first video was uploaded. It then made its way through an odd assortment of words and names in alphabetical order, many of them related to popular culture at the time, like Kesha, Justin Bieber, and Nike. This behavior didn't last long, changing to reflect any variety of words regardless of order, and then experiencing a new phase, relating phrases, starting with the most concerning. How to ask for help in English, which said, "Please help me escape from this place." This is the moment that traction began to rise for Pronunciation Book, since it was an unusual and at times hilarious move. It then became frankly odd, hinting at connective tissue through statements like, "We might still be together if we hadn't gone on that mission. She is the finest regulator I've ever worked with. Don knows what happened on the riverboat, and you can't understand what it's like to be stuck here." It went back to normal for a bit, and then on July 9, 2013, it took a turn.
Something is going to happen in 77 days. I've been trying to tell you something for 1,183 days. Something is going to happen in 76 days. I'm awake now. Things are clearing up. I'm not saying the words anymore. Something is going to happen in 75 days.
Videos continuing the countdown were uploaded each day after that, attracting sudden massive attention online. Meanwhile, on Twitter, a similar account was active under the name Horse eBooks. Originally a Twitter spam bot designed by a Russian to make money off of spam links, it gained attention by trying to fight Twitter's detection systems by including odd statements people found absurdly funny. Curiosity about it increased in September of 2014, when news broke that someone at BuzzFeed named Jacob MacLeod had tracked down the account owner and taken Horse eBooks a few years prior. Now, here's where these two meet. How to pronounce Horse eBooks.
Horse eBooks. Horse eBooks.
Horse eBooks. It's morning in cyberspace, and the systems are in love. A spam bot and a channel. What would the parents think? Together again. It's all just data in the net. but we're just getting started. There is a man named Dalton. Dalton is dangerous. He is rich, he is strong, and he is going to crash the stock market. Sidewalks crack and streets go dark. 10,000 bankers shake and scream for Dalton's pyramid. Where are the regulators? That's where you come in. I've been trying to tell you something for 5 years. You're in the elevator. You're right on time, like a regulator should be. You are a beautiful system. This is the world we're in, and this is what is happening. What's that tune? Everyone is singing. You are first class. You are ready. And you are the regulator who will see the shining data in the stars of Bear Stearns Bravo. Bear Stearns Bravo.
That same day, Horse eBooks issued a tweet sharing that video, a phone number, and the name Bear Stearns Bravo. The phone number, when called, would be answered by Jacob MacLeod and Thomas Bender, the members of Synydyne, who read a Horse eBooks tweet and then hung up. Bear Stearns Bravo was provided as a link in the video description of the final upload on Pronunciation Book, encouraging viewers to play. But what was Bear Stearns Bravo? Have a look.
Some people think that the market can't think for itself. Those are the same kind of goody-goody beatniks who take their breakfast cereal with soy milk instead of boiling water!
Still don't get it? Is there a weird feeling in your stomach or an odd taste in your mouth? Check out this join page from the Bear Stearns Bravo website. The regulators are illegal tourists in LA's deadliest zone. Finesse your way through the Gilded Corridor as Franco, or brawl the bullies of East Free Trade as Henry. On LA's black market, everything's for sale. Ancient secrets, combat mortgages, and love. You'll access all the data through BravoNet, a revolutionary computer network with full-text message boards and personalized interactive modules. News, sports, stock quotes, romance. Download it all on BravoNet. We're waiting for you. You then fill out your information and choose whether to play a banker or a regulator for the story, which is about a futuristic 90s CD-ROM game-style art project about the 2008 housing crisis. Yes, seriously. Bear Stearns was a real bank that was deeply involved in the securities fraud wave that brought down the market in 2008 and sent the economy spiraling into a recession. They collapsed during the breakdown and were effectively forced into a sale to JP Morgan Chase by the government. That is what this was all leading up to. That's what all the excitement and teasing was about. An ARG for a comedic sci-fi take on the very recent and very unappealing 2008 housing crisis.
This is 2007! This is Bear Stearns! And this is our future! Thanks to subprime mortgages, we made more money last quarter than Russia! I'm here today to lay out our long-term battle plans.
When interviewed by Vice about the reveals on Pronunciation Book and Horse eBooks, Synydyne had this to say. We consider ourselves principally video artists with some emphasis on conceptual and performance art. We're influenced by data and the amount of information we create these days. Horse eBooks is connected intimately to Bear Stearns Bravo. It's a personage in that world, and so is Pronunciation Book. Some of this is a reaction to corporate personhood and what it would mean if these things were people. With Horse eBooks and Pronunciation Book, what would it mean if they fell in love? That's what we're trying to do with Bear Stearns. Let people feel the emotions of banking. It's also about mythologizing the financial collapse of 2007 to 2008, which I feel is really important and hasn't been investigated too heavily yet. There's no coherent response. I'm going to give you a second to let this sink in. And while it happens, I'd like you to imagine being someone who followed Pronunciation Book's countdown, only to get this as the big reveal. Now I want you to imagine finding out the group responsible was the very same who ran This Is My Milwaukee, which you played faithfully, only to see suddenly abandoned with no explanation. Got the feeling? Good. Here are the top comments from the Horse eBooks video on pronunciation guide ushering in Bear Stearns Bravo. So this channel was just an elaborate advertisement for some silly game. How to pronounce big disappointment. 1 year later, still disappointed. I come back to this video every once in a while just to make sure I've thumbed it down. Yes, it's almost 2 months later and I'm still mad. And finally, the cherry on top. This is one of the rare YouTube videos that has a negative approval rating, with 1,500 more dislikes than likes. I can also tell you that during the day this happened, I was in a thread on a forum speculating what was about to go down, and when it finally came, the reactions were much more negative because it was in a space not moderated by YouTube filters. No one, not a single soul, was asking for a comedy sci-fi ARG about the criminals who helped destroy the housing market and made it impossible for millions of people to achieve the American dream of owning a home. Nobody wanted to even hear the name Bear Stearns anymore. No one wanted that tragedy mythologized, and there weren't any people who wanted to feel the emotions of banking or see a spam bot fall in love with a YouTube channel. Polygon.com did a summary of the game for anyone who was sincerely confused about what had just happened, which was most people, and it gets worse. That game is, fittingly, a bizarre take at the fictional 31st century version of banking firm Bear Stearns, in which the player, a bank regulator, and his partner must gather evidence for the bank's surprise midnight trial. It's all set in full motion video, offering the player dialogue choices or the option to arrest whoever they're talking to at set junctions. The first impact of Bear Stearns Bravo is free. The second impact costs $7 to access, and also unlocks full text message boards and personalized interactive modules. And news, sports, stock quotes, romance? That's right. Everything mentioned in the BravoNet section of this page was initially rolled out as a paid-for expansion. A giant bait-and-switch ARG about money-obsessed villains pulling a fast one was bringing people in for free, and then showing them an exclusive paid option for message board access. Granted, the effort to make Bear Stearns Bravo reportedly involved over 100 people, so they needed some kind of way to break even from their expenses. I understand that completely. But to go through all of that for Bear Stearns Bravo, and for $7 a person, offering this? I was there to witness the reactions on the final YouTube video and in a forum without a filter. There has never been a bigger go stand in back of a horse and hit it with a book moment in the history of ARG. And as the feedback poured in, the members of Synydyne sat in a small room in New York City, picking up phones to read out horse ebook tweets. That all took place in September of 2013. They have not been heard of since. To this day, no one really understands what happened here. Not with This Is My Milwaukee, not with the amount of, yes, good, this is a smart idea conversations that must have happened for Bear Stearns Bravo, not with Synydyne after the fact. Nothing. Art is subjective, and if you really believe in an idea or a project, you gotta go for it, even if some people are going to roll their eyes or just not get it. It's the truth. Even if it's going to be a low audience turnout or some people will call it a failure, you have to do what you must, and don't let hell itself stop you. We get some of the best stuff at times because people dare to go for it and be fancy pants high concept artists. Those are some of my favorite people and personal inspirations. If you're compelled, screw what I think or anybody else. Go make your project and give it your all. But at the same time, my mind is still reeling with the question, why Bear Stearns Bravo? Why? No one, even for a moment, really considered what an explosive deflation this was going to be at the end of the most mysterious countdown to hit the internet in years, and to give people the emotion of banking and mythologize the 2008 housing crisis? You didn't think this might go over like a lead balloon? Seriously? On the positive side, the media they created for Bear Stearns Bravo is really cool. They clearly put a lot of time and effort into it. This execution, though, and the dedication to such a concept, I can't wrap my head around it. I'll always remember the way the internet reacted, and I'll never forget what I felt when I was tricked into being excited for an ARG in the form of an oversaturated lecture finger-wagging at a group of suited clowns we'd all happily forgotten we hated. Nobody feels anything about banking or securities markets except when they're mad or fearful. Why would you design a whole interactive experience around it? I felt like I had been exposed to an online project written by political cartoonists, and that's just awful. Nobody wants that taste in their mouth. Synydyne have some brilliance to them. They truly do. You need to be brilliant to do the things they've done. From the entirety of This Is My Milwaukee to the success of Horse eBooks and Pronunciation Book and all that technical work involved in Bear Stearns Bravo. I wouldn't call any of their projects failures. If they had separated Bear Stearns Bravo from Horse eBooks and Pronunciation Book, made it completely its own thing with its own trailheads, and removed the name of the real company who helped bring down the economy, it wouldn't have imploded like that. But to work everybody up and perform this nonsensical bait and switch while letting players eventually work out that both accounts have human-type characters in the game as your grand tie-in? No. No. ARG loves to play the gotcha card and reveal the intellectual property under the mask, but this is so not how it's done. Synydyne is quite the odd art collective, often praised and maligned. Known for the biggest moment in the field of falling right off the balance beam, and for making a major first impression that they also failed to finish. Their work is a series of fever dreams, and so is their history, but their potential and ability is without question. I wouldn't be surprised to see them return someday, and if they do, I'll be right nearby to cheer them on. They can do it. I know they can. Thanks for joining me tonight, everyone. I've wanted to tell the Synydyne story for a while, but haven't quite caught the moment until now. Major thanks to my supporters on Patreon, who get a load of digital goods starting at just $2 a month and empower me to keep bringing you stories like this. You can join them right now to get exclusive videos, join the Patreon Nightmind community, and get your name in the credits of every major video, which you'll witness yourself in just a moment. And if you're not into Patreon or can't sign up, there's always my Pop Ace, where most Patreon exclusive videos are uploaded for free after the patrons have had premiere viewing. This method costs nothing, just a single short ad view of 30 seconds or less to unlock, and then it's uninterrupted viewing for the life of the video. I've got over 2 hours of content on there right now and we'll be adding more all the time, so be on the lookout, and while you're there, feel free to check out the games, quizzes, picks, and more. That's all for now, everyone. Thanks for joining me in the dark again this evening for another episode of Cabin Fever Dreams. Big shout out once more to our friends at Crunchyroll for the sponsor. Remember to check them out through my link in the description and let me know what you're watching in the comments. I'm Nick Nocturne, and I'll be seeing you again real soon. Take care and sleep tight.